I just wanted to do something nice for my girlfriend. I bought her favorite ice cream, but instead of gratitude, I caught her with another guy. And you know what's worse? She actually yelled at me. I never imagined I'd be the kind of person posting something like this on the internet. But honestly, my head is spinning, and I don't know who else to talk to. So here I am, writing this out, hoping maybe strangers can help me make sense of it. Let me start from the beginning. I've been with my girlfriend for almost 2 years, and for most of that time, I was convinced we were solid, like really solid. We weren't perfect, nobody is, but we had this connection that felt rare. She wasn't just my girlfriend, she was my best friend. The person I texted first thing in the morning and the last one I said goodnight to. The one I vented to after work, the one I shared dumb memes with, the one who knew every embarrassing story from my childhood. We had this rhythm, this comfort that I thought only existed in movies. Our Sunday morning coffee runs, our stupid little arguments about whether pineapple belongs on pizza. She won me over eventually. The way she'd steal my hoodies, even though she had like 20 of her own. It was domestic, simple, but it was ours. I loved that girl with everything I had. And maybe that's why what happened cut so deep. See, I've always believed it's the small gestures that matter in a relationship. Not the flashy stuff, but the little reminders that you care. A random note on the fridge, picking up their favorite snack on the way home, remembering how they take their coffee without even asking. For her, it was ice cream. Mint chocolate chips specifically. She once told me, "Ice cream is love in a cup. Doesn't matter how bad the day is, it fixes things." And I believed her. So on this particular night, I had this cheesy but sweet idea. I'd stop by her favorite ice cream shop after work, grab a pint of her favorite flavor, and surprise her. No special occasion, just because. Just to make her smile. It sounds silly writing it out now, but in that moment, I was so excited. I imagined walking in, holding it up, seeing her face light up. I even pictured us curling up on her couch, eating straight out of the container, laughing about something stupid on Netflix.
I wanted to remind her, and myself, how good we had it. I can still picture that shop. It's one of those small, family-owned places with pastel-colored walls and a little bell above the door. The owner always greets me like I'm part of the family, even though I only come in every once in a while. I bought a pint of mint chocolate chip for her and a pint of cookies and cream for me. The owner even packed it with extra dry ice so it wouldn't melt on the way. I drove to her apartment with the dumbest grin on my face. You know that feeling when you're so happy you catch yourself smiling alone in the car? That was me. I was blasting some cheesy love songs, thinking about how lucky I was. But life has a cruel way of kicking you in the teeth when you least expect it. When I pulled up to her place, everything seemed normal. Too normal almost. The lights were on. No music playing. Just quiet. I shrugged it off, figuring she was tired. I grabbed the bag with the ice cream and headed up. She had given me a spare tea months earlier. It was a big deal at the time, one of those milestones in a relationship where you feel like you're really building something together. I remember holding that key in my hand and thinking, this is trust, this is forever. That thought was echoing in my head as I slid the key into the lock and opened the door. The second I stepped inside, something felt off. It's hard to describe. The air just felt heavier. My gut tightened, and then I heard it. Voices, not just hers. A man's voice. At first, my brain scrambled to make sense of it. Maybe she had a friend over, maybe her brother stopped by, maybe she left the TV on. Anything but the truth that was slowly clawing its way into my chest. I walked further down the hall, my grip tightening on the bag of ice cream. I swear my heart was beating so loud I was surprised they didn't hear me coming. And then I reached her bedroom. The door was half open, and I saw them. Her, the girl I loved, the girl I would have done anything for. And him. I froze. My whole body just shut down. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. I was standing there like an idiot, holding a bag with ice cream in it, watching my world collapse in front of me. What's burned into my memory isn't just what they were doing. It's her face. Because she didn't even look surprised, Not scared, not guilty, just annoyed, like I was the one intruding. In that moment, something inside me cracked.
The next few seconds felt like an eternity. I stood there in the doorway, frozen, holding a bag of melting ice cream like some pathetic cliché. My heart was pounding, my hands shaking, but my brain refused to catch up with what my eyes were seeing. She finally noticed me, and instead of panic, guilt, or even shame, she rolled her eyes, like I was the one ruining her night. Seriously? She snapped. What are you even doing here? That's when it hit me. She wasn't sorry. She wasn't even caught off guard. She was angry at me for walking in, for existing, for daring to find out the truth. I tried to speak, but nothing came out at first. My throat was tight like I'd swallowed a rock. Finally, I managed to whisper, I brought you ice cream. It sounded so stupid, so small compared to the scene in front of me. But it was the truth. That was why I came. Not to accuse, not to fight, just to love her in the simplest way I knew how. She scoffed. Are you serious right now? You don't just barge into someone's place uninvited. God, you're so controlling sometimes. Uninvited. She said uninvited. Like the spare key she gave me, the one she pressed into my hand months ago with a smile, didn't mean anything. Her words cut deeper than anything else. Not the betrayal, not the guy in her bed, not the lies. It was that dismissal, like I was nothing, like our entire relationship was just disposable. I looked at him, the guy. He didn't say much. He just sat there half-dressed, awkwardly avoiding eye contact. I almost pitied him. Almost. But all my rage, all my heartbreak was focused on her. I wanted to yell, to scream, to demand an explanation. But instead, I just stood there, clutching that bag tighter and tighter, feeling the cold seep through the paper as the ice cream started to melt. Finally, I managed, "How long?" She crossed her arms, annoyed. Does it matter? That broke me. Because yes, it did matter. Every second mattered. Every memory, every laugh, every late-night drive, every kiss, all of it mattered to me. And to her, it was nothing. I don't remember much after that. It's all a blur of her voice, sharp, accusing, turning everything back on me. She called me insecure, said I smothered her, said I didn't give her space. Meanwhile, I stood there with ice cream dripping through the bottom of the bag, staining my hands, symbolizing everything slipping away. At some point, I just shut down. I stopped listening. I stopped trying to defend myself. Because what was the point? She'd already made her choice, and nothing I said would change it. So I turned around and walked out. I don't even remember closing the door behind me. I just remember the sound of my footsteps in the hallway, the weight of the bag in my hands, the absurdity of it all. Here I was, a grown man, heartbroken and humiliated, holding a pint of melting mint chocolate chip like it was the last piece of my soul. I sat in my car for what felt like hours. The ice cream was completely melted by then, just a soupy mess sloshing around in its container. I stared at it, and for some reason, that's when I finally broke down. I cried. Ugly, gut-wrenching, heaving sobs, the kind of crying that doesn't feel like it'll ever stop. Because it wasn't just about her cheating. It was about everything I thought I knew being ripped away in an instant. You think you know someone. You think you're building a future. And then, in one night, you realize it was all a lie. That was 3 weeks ago. And I still can't eat mint chocolate chip without wanting to throw up. But here's the thing. As much as it hurts, as much as I still feel that pit in my stomach every time I think about it, I'm starting to see it differently now. I didn't lose everything. I lost her, and yeah, that sucks. It sucks more than I can put into words. But I didn't lose myself. If anything, I'm starting to find myself again. I've been hitting the gym, hanging out with friends I hadn't seen in months because I was too wrapped up in her, picking up hobbies I'd abandoned. For the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm living for me, not for someone else. And the truth is, she did me a favor, because if she hadn't shown her true colors, I would have kept pouring everything into someone who didn't value me. I would have kept believing in a future that was never going to exist. So yeah, I lost a girlfriend, but I gained clarity, I gained freedom, and maybe, just maybe, I gained a shot at something real in the future. If anyone reading this has been through something similar, I get it. The betrayal, the humiliation, the nights where you replay every moment in your head wondering what you did wrong. But here's what I'm learning. Sometimes the best thing someone can do for you is show you exactly who they are. Because then you can finally walk away. And you deserve to walk towards someone who actually chooses you.